Bleeding Love, a short love story inspired by the song of the same name by Leona Lewis. Chapter 3. An Unavoidable Encounter. Maxwell Harrington was a man of focus and dedication. His firm, Harrington Investments, was his pride and joy, a result of years of hard work and meticulous planning. He was as dedicated to his work as he was to his well-groomed appearance, his broad shoulders fitting comfortably into the finest suits, his dark hair always styled to perfection, a charming smile playing on his lips, revealing a set of perfect white teeth, his intense gaze enough to melt even the coldest hearts. But ever since meeting Charlotte Clark, his focus had faltered. Her image continuously invaded his thoughts, the memory of her laughter echoing in his mind, her sparkling sea-green eyes imprinted in his memory. It was an attraction he hadn't expected, but one he found impossible to resist. He found himself daydreaming about her, about holding her close, their bodies moving together in a rhythm as old as time, his breath hitched at the very thought, his heart pounding against his ribcage. In an attempt to take control of his thoughts, Maxwell decided to dive back into his work, but fate had different plans. An invitation arrived for another event, a fashion show this time, hosted by Charlotte's company. It was a chance for potential investors to see the heart of the business. It was also another chance for him to see Charlotte. In the chaos of flashing lights and buzzing conversations, Maxwell's eyes sought one person. There she was, standing in the crowd, radiant as ever, her emerald gown hugging her curves, her hair cascading down like liquid gold. Their eyes met, a silent acknowledgement passing between them, a spark, a connection, a magnetic pull that seemed impossible to resist. She approached him, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Maxwell, I'm so glad you could make it," she said, her voice low, her words carrying an underlying hint of anticipation. "The pleasure is all mine, Charlotte," he replied, his gaze never leaving hers. The sexual tension between them was palpable, a charged undercurrent that made the air between them crackle with electricity. As the fashion show commenced, their bodies brushed against each other in the cramped space. Each touch was like a jolt of electricity, their shared glances holding promises of passion and desire. He could smell her perfume, a delicate mix of vanilla and roses, a scent that would forever be imprinted in his memory. Every now and then he'd catch her looking at him, a flush creeping up her cheeks, her gaze quickly shifting away. He'd smile to himself, a deep sense of satisfaction filling him. The attraction was mutual. As the night wore on, Maxwell found it increasingly hard to resist her. The way her lips curved when she smiled, the soft sound of her laughter, the seductive glint in her eyes, all of it was intoxicating. Caught in a whirlwind of desire and anticipation, Maxwell decided to take a risk. Leaning towards her, he softly whispered in her ear, "Dinner tomorrow, Charlotte?" His breath tickled her skin, his words sending a shiver down her spine. She glanced at him, her sea-green eyes meeting his. For a moment she hesitated, her fear threatening to overpower her desire. But looking into his eyes, seeing the promise of passion they held, she found herself nodding. "Yes, Maxwell, dinner it is." As they parted ways that night, both of them were consumed by a sense of excitement and apprehension. A dangerous game had been set in motion, a dance of desire and attraction. Their hearts bled love, a sweet wound that they were too scared to admit, too drawn to resist. Little did they know that this was just the beginning of a love story that was as passionate as it was complicated. The fashion show had been a success, but that wasn't what kept Charlotte up late into the night. It was Maxwell's proposal for dinner that had her mind racing. She found herself both excited and nervous, a mix of emotions that she hadn't experienced in a while. She knew she was taking a risk, opening her heart to a man who could potentially shatter it, but the magnetic pull she felt towards him was something she could no longer ignore. She was drawn to him, her heart yearning to explore the passion that sparked between them. Meanwhile, Maxwell found himself in a similar state of mind. A sense of anticipation filled him as he thought of their upcoming dinner. He'd felt an undeniable connection with Charlotte from the moment he'd seen her, and the thought of exploring that connection filled him with excitement. The days leading up to their dinner were filled with an unspoken tension. Their conversations were business as usual, yet there was an undercurrent of something more, a hint of anticipation, a shared secret. They exchanged glances that held promises, smiles that were more intimate, words that carried more weight. Their shared anticipation only intensified as the day of their dinner approached. There was an electric energy between them, a sizzling tension that made every interaction more intense, every moment more significant. And so, as Charlotte prepared for their dinner, dressing up in a sleek black dress that hugged her curves perfectly, she couldn't help but feel a flutter of excitement. She looked at herself in the mirror, her heart pounding in her chest. She was taking a leap of faith, letting her heart lead for the first time in a long while. Across town, Maxwell was getting ready as well. He adjusted his tie in the mirror, his heart beating in anticipation. He had planned this evening to perfection, hoping to impress Charlotte. Both of them, standing in front of their mirrors, could feel the excitement and anticipation building. The sexual tension, the longing, the unspoken desire, it was all leading to this moment, this dinner. They were stepping into uncharted territory, their hearts bleeding love, their minds filled with thoughts of each other. This was the start of something new, something exciting, a dance of desire and passion, of love and fear. It was a dance that promised to change their lives forever, a dance that they were ready to embrace. As the evening approached, Charlotte and Maxwell knew that they were on the verge of something beautiful and intoxicating. The question was, would they be able to handle the intensity, the passion that was about to be unleashed? Only time would tell.
Bleeding Love is comprised of 6 chapters. To watch or listen to all 6 chapters, why not subscribe to the Romance Diaries? Or if you want to experience your own real-life romance, why not visit one of our sponsors by clicking on a link in the description. The next chapter is Chapter 4, Dinner and Desires.